When I was born, my right lung had collapsed. And so during the turmoil of my first day here, my parents were super concerned this was going to stunt my growth and have development issues, but standing before you, I don't think that was the case. But soon after I was born, my mom's best friend picked me up and he's like, "Oh, he smells like butter cookies." And then she's like, "Oh no, we can't give him that nickname, because one day he's going to be a linebacker running onto the field and they're going to go, 'Here comes Clayson the butter cookie Samuelsen.'" But growing up, I was a pretty precocious kid. I liked to get into things, I liked to take them apart, see how they worked, not really put them back together. But it didn't really show more until I started doing theater in high school. And in high school, I started more with acting. But acting got me into technical theater. I was building sets, I was doing lights, I was running sound. I found a teacher who just helped me do more of these things, and this was all volunteer time. So this is what got me through high school, and I then took it into college. But during college, I wanted just a little bit more. And I remember during a high school internship, there were some guys on the crew doing welding, and it was great. It looked cool, they were always in demand, they were always working, and their skills were needed. So after theater, I found welding school to supplement my tech skills. Before I started, I didn't know anything. I didn't know the names of processes or the parts. I didn't know it mainly used electricity. It was just pretty overwhelming. But after a few weeks of intense study, which was a new thing for me as well, it just started to click and make sense. I loved it. I was going through tests and processes left and right, and nothing had just ever resonated with me as much as this before. So I turned new skills I was gaining into my new trade and career. And soon after, I was offered the position of instructor at my own welding school. And this was crazy. I had never had this level of responsibility before and to this scale. But I would get the opportunity to take this thing that made so much sense to me and teach it to other people. And mainly I taught code level welding. Code level welding is a highly documented process where you have to track all the material, all the time, all the passes, how did they do it, why did they do it. And it was pretty daunting, but it just started to work and work. This is the test of one of my first students. And it's not 100%, but it was great to see somebody who also came in with no skill whatsoever and pass a code level test. I was more excited that day than when I passed my first weld test. To see that I had transferred my skills and knowledge directly to somebody who started welding like this was pretty cool. Because in welding, there's always proof in steel. You do something wrong in that first pass, it's going to show up in the second pass. You do something wrong in the next pass, it's going to show up again and again and again. So you can't get away from it. And we spend so much time looking at these welds, we'll cut them in half so we can see every pass, every layer, everything has to work right. Because if your weld's going to hold a building or a bridge or a nuclear pressure vessel together, it has to be that solid piece. And you have to know when you start, that's what it's going to be. Welding has shown me a lot more things than just combining pieces of metal together, though. I've taken a lot of what I gained from welding and teaching and taken it into other areas of my life. First, don't look at the pretty blue light. It's a trap, and it's not worth the feeling of sand on your eyes. Fire is going to be hot, and you got to respect that. It's the thing that can be the most dangerous to you in your environment. If something doesn't look hot, doesn't mean that it isn't hot, so you have to respect every single step of the process. Pay attention to the details right at the beginning. If the first step is wrong, the next step is wrong, and the next step is wrong. And you're going to spend so much time trying to fix something that you could have taken care of right at the beginning. So always start right. You can always change your perspective. Something is always going to be more difficult than something else you've already done, but that doesn't mean you have to change how you do something. Start at the beginning, work it all the way through to get what you want. Be sure you know what step one is. If it's not given to you, make it. You don't have to change and reinvent the wheel every time you do something. Follow what you already know, track it, and get to the end step of the product you want. And always keep pushing. I recently decided I needed to get out into the field and not just be teaching anymore. I can definitely talk the talk and walk the walk, but I owe it to any prospective student I teach, what can they expect from this trade? And I owed it to myself to no longer be stagnant. Welding has given me the skills for a trade that lets me do what I need to do to be who I want to be. It lets me stay in York because there's so many opportunities here to be with my family and my friends, and that's just been really rewarding in my life. And it also lets me be this guy. So I can turn the on switch, I can turn the off switch and focus on that one thing I need to, and then I can easily turn it off and be the guy in a tux on a rocking horse. Thank you.